Here we all are, happy as can be on another beautiful day. I don't know what the weather's like where you are. I have to admit it was a bit cold yesterday. The feels like temperature was down to -6 with the southerly blowing. So hopefully it's warmer up in your place today. Frank, what's it like in your neck of the woods?
Well, it's a bit overcast, but it is a bit chilly.
Good. And
I
Pete, you're
say it'd be
okay?
the same over your way, Pete.
No, we've got a beautiful blue sky,
Oh,
also quite chilly, but the golfers were out at 7 o'clock this morning, so that tells you that the weather's fine.
Oh, well.
Couldn't believe it. I hadn't even had my wheat bix.
yeah.
So good to see you all. Good to see you in good health. And for those of you who are joining us, thanks very much for clicking in. And we've got a lot to talk about today. Most of it's, prattle, but who knows? Let me just dig some stuff out. What do we got? Oh, Pete, OIA, you sent something off to Judith Collins. What's the go there? Any
I did,
response?
and as per usual, it's absolutely no response whatsoever. Um, Also to the OIA, other OIAs that we're waiting for. So, um, as I said last week, I think they've had a week now, so it'll be now time to contact the Ombudsman and say what's going on. I would imagine that Defence is having a bit of turmoil um, with what's going on with the civilian roles. They've also
Yep.
been at the Waitangi Tribunal. They had a huge turnout there,
Yep.
and they've probably got a little bit going on. But anyway, we'll just give them something else further to do.
Cool. So looking to the future for the AGM, which rocks around on the 27th of July, Templeton RSA, 5 p.m. in the evening. That could be interesting. So we're after new committee members, a new president, someone to lead us over the next however long, the next phase of development, I guess, of the association. So bear that one in mind. What else has happened? After last week, we spoke about Willie Apiata handing his VC to Minister Pink for safekeeping while they try to work out who a veteran is and who a veteran isn't. I note now that Minister Pink is, I think it was meeting last night with RNZ RSA. That's an interesting pop up. What do you think on that, Frank?
Yeah, I actually am also waiting for an OIA from Mr. Pink on that exact thing, veterans and veterans pensions.
Yeah.
I've had a reply saying that in the appropriate time I will be communicated with. Of course, I'm running out of days, like you, Peter. I don't like my chances of even getting an answer.
Right. So it'll be, I remember being at a conference not long after Minister Pink was appointed to the role of Veterans Minister, and he was saying the only thing he really had on his plate as far as veterans affairs went was the clear declaration of who a veteran is. And we know that under Ron Mark's watch, the VAB submitted some advice, and I think, as we said last week, the stumbling block was the $144 million that it would cost should everybody who has served be recognised as a veteran. So we're possibly back in that same frame, and we'll see what the minister can come up with prior to him perhaps vacating office in about, 18, 20 months' time or something like that, is it?
I'd be interested to know in how they came up with that 144 million because I did some calculations. We've got about 5,500 people who receive the veterans pension at the moment,
Yeah.
and the veterans pension is exactly the same as national super.
Yes.
So there's no money there. It's very hard to work out how it's going to cost them anything.
Well, I agree with you, Frank. I think if you're getting injuries suffered in service or dealt with by ACC, the money's already being spent. So really it's transferring it from one hat to another hat.
Exactly.
So that, yeah, it just changes hands. So I don't know. Don't know how they work that one. But there you go. That's something to keep an eye on for the future. And speaking of money, two things of interest. The Defence Capability Plan that we spoke about last week, finally been unleashed by Prime Minister Luxton. Interesting to note a $12 billion spend up on replacements for the much maligned 757s, helicopters, and further upgrades to the frigates. However, it's over an 8-year plan, which would mean this current government would have to roll into the next elections, win that, to keep it alive. Otherwise, it can well be changed by the incoming government, if it's a Labor government, who disagree with the spend. So it's a promise. We'll see how well that one turns out. What are your thoughts?
I don't think they will change anything, the Labor government, if they win the election, because there's been a lot of noises coming out of them lately about the two bigger parties need to work together to stop this 3-year cycle nonsense.
Yeah.
So if somebody makes a long-term plan, don't crush it, buddy, straight away, accept that it's there and let it run its course. And I'm pleased to note that a lot of, well, for a start off, they've dropped the academic things for entry into the Defence Forces.
Yep.
And I was interested in the comments on Facebook last night from people who are serving members saying how their children want to join the forces and they can't because of the bloody tests they've got to pass. And some of them said, I tried the test and even I can't pass it, and I'm a serving member.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Well, I
I don't
doubt
know.
whether we would have got in those
No,
days.
well, we probably wouldn't have because I've done some of that stuff, in Civvy Street, admittedly about 10 years ago now, but some of it is bloody rocket science stuff, and I'm going, hey, come on. We're not recruiting rocket scientists. We want bloody soldiers, sailors, and airmen, and airwomen, and sailoresses and soldieresses. So
I think it's
I noticed in the military spend up, the Manawanui is not going to be replaced. They're going to divide all the jobs she did between other ships.
all right.
So that's going to weaken each role as a diving support ship, as a hydrographic ship, as
Right.
it makes you wonder. In fact, I've just completed reading the report from the inquiry into the sinking of the Manawanui.
Yes.
yeah,
And it was such sad reading. It's the final comments from the committee or the inquiry chiefs was, it was just a series of human errors, timing, and inexperience.
Right. Okay.
And reading through, you read such words that coming out that key personnel had deficiencies in qualifications. The platform, they call the bridge the platform for some unknown reason, and it's quite confusing. People on the bridge didn't have their qualifications.
Right.
Risk management was inadequate. Ship not chartered in accordance with Royal New Zealand Navy operational orders.
Goodness.
The ship had not even completed its workup before it left New Zealand.
Oh.
It's such a damning report.
Yeah.
It's even the evacuation suits that you wear when you go over the side. They only had one size. One size fits all.
well, that's a military thing.
Well, it's good that they're going to spend $12 billion to start sorting it out. And also, good to see in the plan that there is intimations that they'll be working more closely with our allies and Australia, who is an ally, to share the burdens. So perhaps they're already going to be working on the Poseidons on our behalf because they've got the capability, the technical capability. So there may be greater opportunities for sharing that kind of workload, maintenance-wise and so on, and maybe even accessing, interchanging on larger scales our workforces. So something to look forward to in the future.
Dennis, can I
Yeah,
just ask Frank a question before we change topic?
yeah.
Frank, before the Manawanui, who did all that work, the hydrographing and all that sort of stuff?
Well, we had another Manawanui, which was the diving tender before that, that did all
Yeah,
the diving work and subsurface work.
yeah,
And the Lachlan was an old river class frigate that they converted to a hydrographic ship,
right.
and that did all the hydrography.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool. Thanks for that,
So
Frank. Good questions, Peter.
it's
Um,
just amazing. Just one thing that I
yeah,
remember the days when we were train, practice, 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 practice,
mm,
train. And I used to think to myself, what are we doing this for? Well, after reading that report on the
now you know.
inquiry, the Manawanui,
Yeah,
man, you can see how valuable that training and practicing is.
yeah.
yeah.
Good one. Thanks, Frank. Anzac Day coming up towards the end of the month, and just this week or last week, I think it was, Minister Pink was presenting amendments to the Anzac Day Act to be more inclusive of service post World War II, which will be interesting to see how that pans out and how wide the scope actually gets, because they're also focusing on peacekeeping roles as well. So not just operational service in a exchanging bullets sense, but also the work done by our troops across all three services on peacekeeping roles throughout the globe. So that'll be an interesting thing to see, and I see they hope to have that sorted by Anzac next year, 26. So again, wait, watch, and see.
I see they're finally adding names to the cenotaphs now, Afghanistan, etc., etc.
Yep,
Mm.
that's good to see. Excellent.
And Southeast Asia.
And yes, that's already on ours.
Oh, right. Oh, good.
I don't know why, but it has been on there for quite some time.
Mm. You
Um,
painted it on in the middle of the night, Frank.
so on the subject of Anzac Day, a little bit of media coverage yesterday about boycotting Anzac Day. um, I'm not sure about that. I think if you want to politicize something, yep, go and do that. But Anzac Day is not just for the veteran community, in my view. It's for everybody who is related to someone who has served. Doesn't matter if it was Gallipoli, World War II, or any time since, who's passed away, to remember that person and their contribution to the country. So politicising the whole deal, yeah, look, the pollies will politicise anything given the opportunity. But the other side of that coin is it might be the only time you get to speak to a politician about issues that are facing the former services community or the current serving services community. So if you want to go and celebrate it with your friends somewhere, by all means, I would recommend that. It's if it's an old haunt, the old pubs that you used to go to or something like that, go and do it. If you want to go to an Anzac Day parade, a civic parade, just be aware the politicians will be there at the civic parade. That's what it's for. And of course, the dawn services are in my view, that's the ex-services time. Not so much for the politicians to tell us how they're going to be wonderful, but more for a remembrance for those who've served. And I think that's the important one to attend. But there you go. Those are just my views. Any thoughts on that one, Frank or Pete?
No, I personally think that Anzac Day should be left as it is for us to do our usual thing, especially the dawn parade, and
Yep.
don't. Well, one of our rules in the RSA was not to be political.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree 100%. I mean, really, we don't even need to give politicians any oxygen on that day at all.
No,
So they can go and do their own thing 364 days of the year. Anzac
Yeah,
Day is not theirs.
that's
agreed.
right. Yeah,
Anzac Day belongs to the country, the people of the
And
country.
that's
while you're
right.
on that, another thing that I've noticed that's appearing on Facebook, a rainbow poppy. Have you seen the poppy with the rainbow colours on half of the poppy?
No.
No.
Being promoted by the Auckland Museum.
Oh,
What?
When I see it next, I'll send you a copy.
okay. Thanks, Frank. Thanks for that.
Hmm.
It's interesting changes.
Of
And
course, you can imagine the remarks.
just speaking of earlier on, we're talking about $12 billion spend up here and $144 million there. I see the auditor's report regarding the Tāwera claim and the challenge going on there by Veterans Affairs to get some clarity. They managed to scrape up 3.2 billion as a possible spender of money that was sitting unused somewhere. Now that's a bit interesting.
The other interesting bit is that they don't actually know what the total is.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, it's like crystal ball stuff. It's like, really?
Yep. Yeah. I think it's just here's a sum. We'll throw it at the problem and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll keep spending it till it's all gone.
All right. That's enough of bagging people. Here's some other news for for what's coming up. So 1st of May. Oh no, before that. Sorry. I think it's the 28th. Thursday of April, the Veterans Affairs Clinic at Wigram Air Force Museum. I understand all the slots have been filled to speak to the reps, but hey, if you've got a bit of a quiet day, no harm popping down there and catching up with a few of your friends and have a coffee. And then the next one is the 1st of May in Dunedin at the Edgar Centre in Dunedin. So pop down there if you're in that part of the world. It's the same being run by Veterans Affairs. What else have we got? The Veterans Hub in Blenheim. So their next coffee meeting is Thursday, the 17th of April. So that's next week at 10 a.m. Salmon's Lounge. And the Tauranga RSA, as usual, Tuesdays and Wednesdays between 10 and 2 at the Hinton Lounge at Tauranga RSA, 1237 Cameron Road. So that's about all the news. That's some of the conversation. Good to have different input and a lot of being good soldiers, sailors and airmen or Air Force personnel. We are well attuned to watching and waiting.
Yeah.
So let's keep our eyes on, and when we get some results from these things, we'll pop them up here and see what's happening. Last post, Frank. You have a couple or one or two or something?
I have one today. NZ 15997, Kettle. Trevor Alistair, Royal New Zealand Navy. He joined in January 1957 as a boy second class. He crossed the bar on the 31st of March 2025, and a service for Trevor was held on the 4th of April. I just pass our condolences on to the family and friends of Trevor.
Thank you, Frank. P46266, Piwari Joseph, 1RNZIR, passed away 7th of April in Tauranga. There is a church service today at 6 p.m. Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, 884 Cameron Road, Tauranga, with him beginning his journey home. The Takapuwahia Marae in Porirua Thursday morning. Details of his tangi in Porirua will be posted later when they become known. Ex-Malayan vet Stan Banjo Patterson passed away. I think it was last week, about the 2nd or 3rd, after a period of ill health. No funeral details as yet known. Our condolences to the family of those who have passed. A bit of a shock about Joe Piwari. He's a bit younger than myself. a very vibrant, active young man on the basketball court in Singapore, 75, 77. Not sure of his career after that, but yeah, a bit of a shock. I understand he may well have been an ex-cadet, but I haven't got confirmation of that. Frank, would you like to do the ode?
Yes, we'll do a little different. They have no grave but the cruel sea, no flowers lay at their head. A rusting hulk in their tombs is their tombstone, a fast on the ocean bed. They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. The going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them.
Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Peter, for your contributions. We hopefully won't be so active and politically motivated next week. We'll be back to the mundane running of how the association's ticking over. And don't forget the AGM, 27th of July. And if you feel motivated, put your hand up. We need some committee members, and we need somebody to take over the steering of the ship. So put that in the diary, and we look forward to seeing you. Look after yourself. Stay in contact with your mates over the phone or email or whatever. Facebook, make contact. And if you need assistance navigating Veterans Affairs or the RSA welfare system, make contact with us or make contact with your local RSA, their support advisors. I'm sure they'll be able to give you a hand. So take care. We'll catch you all next week. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Stay safe and look after your mates.